From a giant snail that would make you scream in disgust, to a pig as big as a car, here are 12 of the most abnormally large animals in the world. Number 12. The world's tallest dog. Animals come in different shapes and sizes, and there is nothing quite as fascinating as size when it comes to an animal or even a human. That is one of the reasons why we can never stop talking about them. And that's why Zeus, a giant Great Dane, is worth remembering. Described by his owner as a gentle giant, Zeus was certified to be the world's tallest dog in the Guinness Book of World Records of 2013. 44 inches tall at the shoulder, Zeus measured 7 feet 4 inches when he stood on his hind legs. The owners, Kevin and Denise Dorlag of Otsego, Michigan, often speak about how people would come up to them and inquire if Zeus was a dog or a horse. Sadly, Zeus passed away just 3 days shy of his 6th birthday, a below-average lifespan for his breed. Zeus was also a certified therapy dog, and to elicit smiles out of people, he would go and sit in their laps. Though at 155 pounds, no one can be sure if they were smiles or grimaces. Before Zeus, the world's tallest dog, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, was Giant George, another Great Dane who was just an inch shorter than Zeus and also passed away at just 7 years of age in 2013. It is unfortunate that these friendly giants have such short lifespans, but that must just be because they truly do live larger than life. We have to appreciate them even more for the time we do get with them. Number 11. African giant snail. Small or big, short or tall, it's almost the first feature people comment on when they meet either a person or a pet, and this snail is remarkable from that point of view. Frogs and snails and puppy dogs' tails, that's what little boys are made of, according to a popular traditional rhyme of old times. However, even the original writer would balk at this snail. You would expect the African giant snail to be big. The word giant is a pretty good indicator, but this big? No way. Slimy and huge, almost the size of a human hand at roughly 8 inches in length, it is a monster. And contrary to its name, the African giant snail is not geographically limited at all. Found in many places, it has an immense appetite and also multiplies rapidly, making it one of the top 10 invasive species here on Earth. Considered a pest, it is also capable of estivating itself, meaning in times of severe drought, it seals itself up in its shell with a calciferous compound and basically takes a very long nap. This is like a short-term hibernation to survive tough times. Big, tough, hardy, and slimy. Mother Nature messed up big with this. Number 10. The world's largest rabbit. Meet Darius. Look at him from a distance, and you are likely to think of him as a dog, albeit a fat one with slightly unusual coloring. Then you see his ears, and this might be when you scream like a child and run for the hills. For this dog-sized creature weighing in at a whopping 50 pounds, measuring 4 feet 4 inches, is a bunny. You might be surprised or even disturbed. Well, wait until you meet his son Jeff, who still has a bit of growing to do and yet already measures 3 feet 8 inches. To put it all in perspective, this beastly bunny duo is from a giant rabbit breed, which does reach the magnificent length of approximately 4 feet. The father-son giants tend to chomp through 2,000 carrots and 700 apples a year and feed on a bale of hay each week, as well as a bowl full of rabbit food each day, costing their loving owner, 63-year-old Annette Edwards, upwards of $5,000 a year. They're like big, fat, hungry children, but they are absolutely adorable. Have you ever had a giant pet, or was your pet particularly talented, or unique in one way or another? Could your faithful dog tell when it was going to rain? Or could your cat jump down off the roof without getting hurt? Tell me about your unique pet in the comments section down below. Then be sure to subscribe to The Biggest to keep getting notified about awesome new videos like this one, filled with facts you didn't know you needed to know. Number 9. Chinese Giant Salamander. Think salamander, and you'd think of these small, lizard-like reptilian creatures that live near water bodies and are somewhat slimy and icky to be around. Mostly, you'd be right. Salamanders are not reptiles, but are in fact amphibians, and they look like a cross between a frog and a lizard. Most salamanders are about 6 inches long, with some even smaller than that, the smallest one being not even an inch long. But with 600 species, there's got to be an errant one. Enter the Chinese giant salamander that can grow up to a ginormous 6 feet long. Yep, lizards as long or tall as your next door neighbor. And if one disturbingly big species weren't enough, you also have the Japanese giant salamander, which can grow up to 5 feet, and the American hellbender, which is smaller at 2 to 3 feet. For the Chinese giant, though, it may soon be curtains, for they are on the luxury food list and being poached for their meat, and for their apparent medicinal value. Isn't it sad that we humans always manage to find the most impressive or unique animals and hunt them to extinction? Number 8, the world's largest cat. Maine Coons are relatively big domestic cats. Known for their distinctive furry tails, they are about 40 inches from nose to tail. Ludo, a Maine Coon Moggy, was already 45 inches and 24.5 pounds at 17 months old. Maine Coons are gentle cats, and Ludo is no different, though he is much bigger than the average cat. The owners, Kelsey and Matthew Gill, from Ryle, West Yorkshire, UK, are themselves surprised at the size of their pet, and the fact that despite being bigger, he tends to eat less than other, smaller cats. The world's longest cat, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, was Stewie, who measured 48.5 inches before finally passing away in 2013 from cancer. And while these gentle giants of the domestic cat world are very friendly, their larger than average size is often a deterrent for many. Come to think of it, you need to be brave to pet a dog-sized cat. After all, any larger, and they might as well be bobcats or lynxes. Number 7, the Goliath Frog. The Goliath, or giant slippery frog, is scary, but only if you have a general fear of frogs, and amphibians, and things that go hop and splash in swamps and marshes in the dark, and have big sticky tongues and eat icky insects and more. The list goes on, but many people find frogs to be disturbing and strange. Even if you are not scared of frogs, having this gargantuan croak at you from out of nowhere might just give even the strongest hearts the heebie-jeebies. This Goliath here is more than a foot long from snout to vent. With legs extended, it's even longer. And while they are like other frogs, even their tadpoles being the same size as tadpoles of other smaller frog species, they just keep growing a whole lot bigger. Found only in a part of Africa in Cameroon, they are also particularly bad parents. Once the eggs are laid, the parents disappear without a trace. This gives a whole new meaning to ruthless and mean animals. Number 6, the world's tallest horse. Horses are big, sure, and short of ponies, they are mostly taller than the average human. Even then, Big Jake will take you by surprise. This handsome stallion stands an official 6 feet 10 3/4 inches tall. In horse lingo, this 11-year-old horse is 20 hands, 2 3/4 inches tall, and weighs in at an astounding 2,600 pounds. At birth itself, Big Jake weighed in at 240 pounds, which is almost 50 pounds more than the average full weight of this breed. He was brought to Smoky Hollow Farm in Poinette, Wisconsin as soon as he was weaned from his mother, and has been a hitch horse at the farm for a while now. Despite his big size, Big Jake is surprisingly good with people and has quite the fan following too. And not to be left behind, at the same farm is another big Belgian, Almighty Bruce, who is shorter but heavier than Big Jake. Number 5, Hercules the Liger. Think cats, and other than the musical and the domestic meows, you'd think of the big jungle wildcats, lions and tigers. The biggest cat is the Siberian tiger, but there's yet another wild cat that overshadows even this fierce and majestic creature, the liger. No, That's not a mistake. A liger is the offspring of a male lion with a female tiger, also called a tigress, and today, the world's biggest surviving cat is Hercules the Liger, who is 131 inches long and weighs in at 922 pounds. Another cool piece of information is that the offspring of a female lion and a male tiger is called a tigon, but tigons are not as big as ligers. Ligers inherit the social nature that lions have, contrary to the solitary nature of their tiger genes. Hercules is a sociable animal, as much as a wild cat can be, and is the world's largest non-obese carnivore. Number 4. Japanese spider crab. Think crabs and you think of lovely beachside dinners, accompanied with a fine merlot with music on the side. This culinary dream will go pop when you meet the Japanese spider crab, an abnormally large species that weighs in at a whopping 42 pounds and can reach 18 feet from claw to claw. This is the stuff that monster movies are made of. And yet, like with most of the animal world biggies, despite its large and ferocious appearance, the spider crab is reported to have a gentle disposition. With its cream body color with orange spots and a rather bumpy appearance, it camouflages well into the ocean floor. To further this illusion, it even decorates its shell with sponges and other seafloor creatures. Surprisingly, the spider crab is hunted for food, and in most parts of Japan, considered a delicacy. Its numbers have been declining due to overfishing, and conservation efforts are on to protect the largest arthropod in the world. Number 3. The world's tallest cow. The tallest cow ever, Blossom, was officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records a little before she passed to greener pastures. A Holstein cow has an average weight of 1,500 pounds. Blossom blossomed into a cow that weighed way more, at 2,000 pounds. At 6 feet 4 inches, she indeed was the biggest heifer of them all. Having been born to 2 normal-sized cows, her vet and foot trimmer quickly noticed her larger than average size. And when it was discovered that Blossom could not bear any calves, her owner Patty Meads Hansen decided to keep her as a pet, rather than send her to the slaughterhouse. She soon became the official greeter at Patty's farm, and was soon recognized for her distinctive size. However, after Blossom seemed to have a fall and damaged a ligament in her hip, she couldn't stand again. And when no vet could figure out what was wrong with her, she sadly had to be put down. Number 2. The record-breaking stingray. Stingrays are infamous for their sting. In fact, a rather villainous one killed one of our favorite wildlife TV personalities, Steve Irwin, in a sad and heartbreaking incident. Not to be left behind, Jeff Corwin, yet another wildlife conservationist and TV personality, caught what is believed to be the largest stingray, or perhaps even the largest freshwater fish ever to be caught from the wild. 14 feet, 800 pounds. This aquatic giant was caught by line and reel, and it took Corwin and his team over 2 hours to reel it in at the Mae Klong River in Thailand. Several of Corwin's team took turns slowly, painstakingly reeling this Goliath in. The fish was then shifted to a special, netted pool to be measured. After that, Corwin tweeted, "Potential world record freshwater fish. Giant stingray, 14 feet by 8 feet, in Thailand, filming for ABC's Ocean Mysteries." How remarkable. Number 1. The world's largest pig. Big Bill. Doesn't the name say it all? If it doesn't, then Big Bill held the title of being the world's largest pig with an astounding weight of 2,552 pounds. Owned by Elias Buford Butler of Jackson, Tennessee, Big Bill was 5 feet tall, 9 feet long, and though he set the record way back in 1933, no other pig has come close to his gargantuan size. There were also reports of the Liaoning Provincial Agricultural Museum having appealed to the Guinness World Records to recognize a 1,984-pound pig, which died in February 2009, aged only 5 years, as the biggest pig ever. The pig apparently died because of health problems that originated because he was too big to move. At death, the pig was 8 feet long and had a waistline of over 7 feet. Perhaps the pig got to know about Big Bill. That said, Big Bill still rules over as the king of all pigs, even posthumously. Thanks for watching. Leave your impressions in the comments down below, and let me know what should be featured next. Don't forget to subscribe for new upcoming videos right here on The Biggest